Hello and welcome to another edition of Music from the Soul. This is a show that has celebrities such as musicians, actors, actresses, singers, athletes, and what we do is just ask them questions of how they got to where they are, and then mix it with a specific song, a specific message of when they connected with that song in their life. Today's guest is somebody that's been in the music world literally, I think Scott, it's Scott Bradoka, but I think Scott, you've been in this music thing for 40 years.
Yeah, at least.
So,
Since I was 2.
That's a great question. So Scott Bradoka has made a living out of playing the guitar. You can Google that and check that any way you want. But the bottom line is he's been creating a paycheck with the guitar all over the world for many years. My association with you is you were like 12 or 13 and you liked baseball and you lived in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and then when we got to know each other and chat, you liked playing the guitar, and I'll move out of this and let you have your own thing. And I know that like when you got to be about 17, 18 years old, and we continued with our friendship, you started to talk about going to guitar college in California. So there's a big blank to fill in, but please go, because that's why they're watching.
All right. Yeah, I planned on being a professional baseball player. And when I met you, it was at NACAC.
Yeah.
And a friend of my dad's was the athletic director, Bill Burse. And he knew I was interested in baseball, so he had me come out. I was kind of like the team manager, and yeah, I planned on that. I varsity baseball in 10th grade, and then I just didn't get along with the coach, and I quit. And it turned into where I really didn't like the coach, but he was the best thing in my life because it got me just to focus on music. And
But I knew that you'd get the bus. All right, so we're about an hour and a half away from New York City. It's on the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border. And you'd get the bus, and you'd go into New York City, you'd go to music stores, big music stores. You'd be looking at the types of guitars you wanted or hoped to get. And I know that you just kept playing, and it went from there.
yeah, I was planning on going to college, and it became apparent that wasn't in the cards for me. And so there's Musicians Institute in LA, Guitar Institute of Technology, and I read about that in a magazine, and it was like, maybe that's what I could do. And I just never looked back.
I know for us, you wanted to meet Craig Jaquiso, and that's a nice story. And what you really did as a young guitarist is you started to build relationships. And when you were out there, if my memory serves correct, somehow you guys connected. And then you came home, and it led to your first CD, and Without Words.
Yes.
I can remember listening to it over and over again. You're probably tired of me talking about it. I'm with you. But you came out of the chute strong.
Yeah. When I was at school, I met a guy named Carl Verheyen, who was a studio musician, and we became friends. And I decided I wanted to start recording, and he produced my first 2 records, actually. And from that, I started touring, and you were in Germany with me.
Merch.
Yeah.
Billy, will you handle merch in Europe for us? I'm like, sure. That was a great tour. You've been on a bunch of tours, but I got to go on a tour with you, and we played in castles.
That was a cool first tour. Like for some nerds from Pennsylvania, all of a sudden we're at a castle in Germany.
So that tour was Lee Ritenour,
Yeah.
and had nothing to do with you. I was a Lee Ritenour fan, but you've been on tour 3, 4.
We did Jeff Beck, which is the pinnacle, but Buddy Guy, Robert Cray, Dickie Betts, the Hooters. We've done a bunch of them.
Last couple of years, you've been putting all of your energy into something that's finally as we get into the middle of 2022, you can feel that it's surfacing again. But you can start at the beginning, the middle, the break with obviously the virus and bring it right into today.
Well, around 2015 or 16, I was tired of my instrumental career. I was done. I just had enough. And one of my friends, I kind of put the word out that I was looking for something. And he introduced me to Gordon Brown and Reagan Richards in a duo called Williams Honor. And it was one of those things where we met and immediately there was a connection. And they're about ready to put out their second album. And I get to play where it was basically a guitar solo for the whole show for 40 minutes, me playing out front. Now I'm kind of in the back, just adding whatever I can, whether it's banjo, guitar, mandolin. It's fun for me. It's been a blast.
With this second CD out, I know that you guys, the virus was coming in. You guys were flying down to Nashville. You did some TV shows. You had a song on the charts. Fill them in on that experience, the song, and then the next song that you're going to pump.
Yeah, well, I mean, beginning of 2020, we were down in Nashville a couple times just in the first 2 months, playing gigs. We did the NBC Today show, and we were going to release the record in May of 2020. And March 12th, we had a gig, and that was it. Everything shut down for over a year, you know. And so that song was Step that we were doing then, and now I'm not sure what single they're releasing for this.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of testing it out, and it's going to be in June. The record's coming out in June, so they have a couple that they're testing with radio programmers to see which should be the next single.
To transition to the title of this show, I know that I spoke about this with you months ago. We had some lunch. I planted the seed, and I had to let all the pieces get to place to get here today. But you were instantaneous with your answer, whether it's changed or not. This is your show. What artist, what song, and why?
Jackson Brown, For a Dancer. For a Dancer is a line that says, "And somewhere between the time you arrive and the time that you go, may lie the reason you were alive, but you'll never know." And that just, I mean, none of us know what we're actually doing here. You know, without getting too deep, I mean, you might think you're an author, or I might think I'm a musician, but maybe we're here because I just went through a drive-through and the person waiting on me was having a bad day and I was nice to them. And maybe that changed something in them. You know, maybe that's the reason, you know, that you never know. So I hear you. That song just really does it for me.
Well, you're playing for crowds, you're playing for people. People go to their computer, they listen to you. So as we get to this age of wherever we're at, we're here in service for others.
Yeah.
And
Jackson Brown, he has a song called These Days that he wrote at 16.
okay.
He was 16 years old, and there's a line that says, "Don't confront me with my failures, for I had not forgotten them." Who at 16 writes something like that?
Somebody that's going to spend 40 years in the industry.
Yeah, like, amazing.
So for the last 30 years, if I'm in any city, in any state, he knows it, and somebody goes, "I love playing the guitar," I say, "I want you to go on the computer, reach out to Scott Bradoka, and just tell him that I sent him." By the way, can you hit us up with your information of how to find you online?
Yeah, I mean, the best way is scottbradoka.com. And Williams Honor is all over the socials. I don't think they update their website very often.
Okay.
So just social media, Instagram, Facebook, they're on there all the time. You know, which if you're gonna network, don't network with other people that do the same thing you do, because all my friends are guitar players, so that's not how you get a gig.
Yeah, that's how you get respect.
Yeah, but you don't get, it's not like, hey, someone's looking for a guitar player, because they'll take the gig.
For what you have on your lap right now, Scott, in your field, this is known as the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
The Holy Grail of guitars. Can you explain that to the folks?
Yeah, it's a 59 Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul. There were between 600 and 700 of them built, and there's a lot less. Well, the joke is now there's even more around because of all the fakes. but there's actually less than that available. And paid more for this than my house.
Paid more for this than your house?
Yeah.
Really? Woo, dog.
So
It's been a good investment, though. Is it worth more than your house?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Twice as much as my house, pretty much right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's done me well. This is my retirement.
That is such a great answer.
Yeah.
Les Paul invented the guitar, so this had to be at the very beginning of the production.
First Les Paul I think was in '52.
Okay.
And it went through a bunch of different changes every year, and then this is the kind of the pinnacle where people feel they got everything right. 59, and they've been trying to get that same magic ever since.
How long have you had it? Where did you find it? How'd you buy it?
I got it in 2009 or 2010, and I was looking, and usually you'll find a shop that might have one, you know, like Groons in Nashville or something might have
Okay.
one, and they're really hard to come by. And a friend said, well, if you're looking, you got to talk to this guy Perry. He's kind of like a aficionado. They call him Burst. It's a sunburst. They call him a Burst. And so I talked to Perry, and he's kind of like the guy that if Keith Richards is looking for a guitar, or you know, someone like that, they go to Perry. And he's like, yeah, bring an amp that you know really well. Plan on spending the afternoon. I'll have a couple here for you to try out. So I get up there. It's up in Glen Cove, New York, Long Island, and there were 13 of them. 13 59s, 2 58s, and a 60. So I spent about 3 hours just playing, and narrowed it down to 3, and then we started talking price and got this one.
It's pretty good.
Sold, I don't know, 15 or 17 guitars to get this one.
So if you're around your mid-50s, is this with you in your 60s, 70s? Is this your mid-60s retirement? What does your brain connect? Because this is an investment besides part of being a musician.
Well, part of the plan is right now, in like another 10 years, move to Spain, sell everything and move to Spain. So if that happens,
that guitar is getting me there.
if you know, maybe I'll be able to do it without it, but this is the ticket if I need it, if I need the money.
That's pretty good.
And I'm never really, I mean, it's still just a thing, you know, so, you know, if something happens where I need it, sell it, you know.
I thank you very much for being on the show, Scott, and I hope people follow. So thank you for being here today. Thanks for talking about music. Scotty B. Thank you, brother.
Thanks.